20th of 2025, so this coming weekend, and what I think is going to happen. So let's get right into it. As far as matches go, night one, we're going to start with Gunther versus Jey Uso. Singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, if you've been paying attention to how the storyline's been going, it's quite clear that Jey Uso is the favorite in this match. We have Gunther, who's beaten Jey Uso multiple times now. He's beaten him for the IC title due to Jimmy interfering back when they had that whole storyline going, which actually led into last year's Wrestlemania match between Jey and Jimmy, where Jey ended up winning. Then we had Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event, where Jey Uso came up short. And then now we're finally getting to the rubber match. So Jey Uso, this is his big breakthrough moment. He's got the nickname main event, and this is his time to seal the deal. He's one of the most popular stars right now in WWE. He's got the crowd always going and yeeting for him. He's got Michael Cole, Pat McAfee always yeeting too. It's just an overall fun experience for everybody that's there. So it only makes sense for one of the top merchandise draws to get the heavyweight championship. Gunther, he's had the title now for a little bit of time. He's done a pretty good reign, not as, spectacular as the IC title or even as long as the IC or the United Kingdom Championship when he had that. But I don't foresee him being, out of the title picture very long. Obviously, he's been a champion for the stats 80-85% of the time, which is fantastic for him. And he gets to come in at WrestleMania as a world champion, which is a fantastic accolade to put in his cap. Now, I think Jey Uso, he's going to have a rough battle. I think it's going to be a bloody one, too. And I think Jey is going to end up sealing it with his spear and then an Uso splash, and he's going to beat Gunther for the heavyweight championship. Now, my prediction about this is Jey Uso is going to lose the World Heavyweight Championship to Sami Zayn. Why? Think about this, right? Jey Uso and Sami have this close relationship where at first Jey hated him, and then they, became best buddies, and they always have each other's back. But if you remember a few months back, Jey and Sami, they hugged it out and stuff. But I think what's going to happen is Sami's going to turn heel and he's going to go after Jey Uso, because Sami's not even on the card for WrestleMania. And last year he beat Gunther for the IC title, and now he's not even in it. And the year before that he was in the main event against the Usos. So I think that Sami's going to turn heel and he's going to come after Jey and get his first world championship. Now, continuing on, we got the War Raiders versus the New Day. War Raiders, well, they are a fantastic team. They just don't seem to have, the it factor. Obviously, they're very talented, and no disrespect to them, but I just don't feel like it's their time. Obviously, they have the belts. That's great. They're the World Tag Team Champions. But the New Day had that crazy heel turn when they kicked Big E out of the group and blamed him for getting injured and not coming back to them. So I think it's their time to win the tag team championship, break the record again that they already set for themselves, and then ultimately just have a massive heel run with the tag team titles. Maybe down the line, Big E costs them the tag team titles to an up-and-coming team. Not too sure. Don't really have it laid out just yet as far as the tag division goes. I mean, they don't have a lot of people that are on the Raw roster for that. But you never know where Triple H could take us. It could be, the NXT team that comes up, the tag champs, or they could do something with TNA and have them fight the Hardy Boys, things like that. Now, continuing on, we got Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. So I think what's going to happen is El Grande is going to win. I think he's going to squash Rey, kind of like how Samoa Joe did a few years back. Reason I think that is this isn't a mask versus mask match yet. I think that's the ultimate goal. I think the Backlash pay-per-view is where Rey's going to get him back, and then they're going to reveal that it's Chad Gable. I think, however, though, in this match, that there's going to be something that's very telling that it is Chad, but they're just not going to pull the trigger just yet, and they're going to have him win. Continuing on, you got Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Naomi's been having quite a heel run, which is fantastic to see. Jade Cargill's got backstage heat for getting into fights with the other women wrestlers, so I don't foresee her winning. I think Naomi's going to win this one. So far, if you paid attention, other than Jey Uso, it's been 3 heels, or, well, the New Day's a team, but 3 different heels going over in the matches. I think the next one, though, is going to go back to being a face win. So we got L.A. Knight, versus the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Now, I know what everybody's probably thinking. Jacob Fatu is going to come in there and he's just going to dominate. He's going to destroy L.A. Knight, which I think is going to happen for majority of the match. But I think what's going to really happen then is Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga are going to come out to support him, and Solo's going to somehow end up costing him the match. Or it might be something along the lines where Solo snaps and attacks him and cost him it. Why? Think about it. Jacob comes in. He hasn't even been here for a year yet. And what did he do? He's already going for a title. Solo's been there for years now. Other than the NXT North American Championship, hasn't really done anything. Jacob's already been a tag champ. Tama's been a tag champ. So just makes sense. They've been teasing it for a little bit. Solo's going to snap, attack Jacob, or cost him the match. LA Knight wins, gives the crowd another happy moment with LA Knight retaining the title. Tiffany versus Charlotte. If you've been paying attention to their storyline, it has been lackluster up until they decided to actually go off script and beef with each other, with Charlotte making fun of Tiffany's voice, and then Tiffany going after Charlotte being 0-3 since she's got 3 divorces under her belt. I think Tiffany's going to win. It's not Charlotte's time, nor do they need her getting closer to the record. I mean, technically, if they count the NXT titles, she's tied at 16 with John Cena and Ric Flair. So it just depends on how you look at it. But I think Tiffany, she needs to win to help build credibility for herself. So I think she's going to beat Charlotte. Last but not least, the triple threat. You got the OTC, the tribal chief himself, Roman Reigns, taking on Seth Rollins, no longer frickin', just Seth Rollins. And then you have CM Punk, who's going to be with Paul Heyman. You got Paul Heyman sitting in the corner of Punk, which is neat to see. It's also going to be nice to see them come out, give you a little bit of a throwback to back when Punk was WWE champion, going through his like legendary run, which was like 2011, 2012, around that time period. But I think the biggest thing in triple threat matches is the one that's getting the least amount of attention is the one that's probably going to win. So I think even though it's CM Punk's first time in the main event of WrestleMania, which is fantastic for him, something that he's always wanted, I think Seth Rollins is going over. Why? I think Roman and Punk are going to be going at it with Paul Heyman, and I think that there's going to be a big swerve here. I think that Paul Heyman is going to align himself with Seth. Reason being, he's already been with Roman all these years. They don't really need him there anymore as the wise man. Roman can kind of do his own thing, and he's kind of like a tweener right now. Punk, while Paul Heyman is his best friend, he doesn't really need the win. He already beat Seth. So in my opinion, I think Seth's going to win this match with Paul Heyman screwing them both over and making a new Paul Heyman guy, with Seth not frickin' Rollins. So that's what I think is going to happen in night 1. So one other thing before we jump into night 2, I think it's fantastic that Tony Khan let his 2 biggest people go, being Cody and CM Punk, and ironically, both those guys are headlining WrestleMania. So fantastic. Shout out to the Young Bucks for sabotaging their company and making it what it is today. Maybe it can bounce back someday, but not today. Continuing on, night 2. So April 20th, 420, Easter. All those fun things going on. So we got another card set up for us. Now, while I think that night 2 is going to be a little bit interesting, I think that this is where Randy Orton's going to have a match. It might be a squash match, but I think he's going to get one in here. So I think Randy Orton's going to end up having a match with Nick Aldis. I keep teasing, like when I post up and stuff on YouTube. But I would love to see it be Joe Hendry, just to get a TNA World Champ on there and give him the, publicity and everything like that, since they are doing a partnership. But it's probably going to be Nick Aldis, which is good for him. He was, never really allowed in the company because of a certain person being upset that Nick Aldis ended up with Mickie James. That certain person's actually in the main event against Cody, so that's kind of funny. But anyway, Starting out, I think Randy Orton and Nick Aldis are going to have a match. I think it's going to be, an interesting one with Randy probably winning relatively quickly. I also think that at some point they're going to have, on night 2, I think they're going to have whoever wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, I think they're going to end up coming out. So, whoever that is, not really sure. Last year was Bronson Reed. Usually it seems to be, at least by their theme, that someone, that is going to end up getting a push down the line. But maybe Sammy, I don't know, since he's not really on the card. But anyway, first match we see listed on here is Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. Now, my wife's a huge Rhea Ripley fan. She's a fantastic worker. Jim Cornette thinks she's the greatest of all time, which she definitely has an argument for. But Bianca Belair is undefeated, and I think that they're going to want to continue that streak. Io Sky, I just don't see it with her. For some reason, they keep putting the title on her. I don't think she's the most talented one out of her group, but they keep putting the belt on her and giving her reigns, but I don't think it's, something that's needed. I think that Bianca's going to win it, and she's going to go on and hold it, at least till SummerSlam. I think it's going to be a fantastic match, though. They're all great workers, but Bianca's probably going to seal the deal. And then it's going to slowly lead towards Rhea becoming more of a tweener heel. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez from the Judgment Day versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyrie. This is like a thrown together match. I know Bayley and Lyra are having like a thing for the Intercontinental title, which is great, but it just seems kind of rushed. So I think Liv and Raquel are going to win. I think they're going to win relatively easy because Bayley is going to turn on Lyra because Bayley wants that IC title. So that's what I think is going to happen with that. And I think there'll be maybe some shenanigans from the rest of the Judgment Day. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Like, this is going to be the dark horse match because I think it's going to be one that steals the show. AJ's, no pun intended, but phenomenal. The guy can put on a great match. And Logan Paul's shown that he puts in the work. He might be the most arrogant, scam artist kind of guy out there, but as a wrestler, does a fantastic job. He's a great heel, too. Real life, not so much. But I think what's going to happen is Logan Paul needs a win. He put over LA Knight, and I think that he's going to get a win over AJ. AJ's on the twilight of his career. Says he ain't going to do it much longer. Doesn't really need the win because he can always just bounce back from it, where Logan Paul's still up and on the rise. Even though he is green, he's going to put on a great match, and he's going to hit the pulverizer, that new finisher he does, which looks fantastic, and he's going to beat AJ. Where it goes from there, I think maybe Logan can go after, another championship, whether it be Jay, give him a feud, or whoever, and AJ can go do his own thing. They seem to kind of not really do much with AJ anymore since his last big thing was fighting for Seth for the inaugural World Heavyweight title. Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Fatal 4-way for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker, he's destined for great things. I think he's going to be the world champion soon, sooner than later. But I think that he's going to end up losing this match here. I don't think he's going to get pinned. I think it's going to be Finn Balor getting pinned by Dominic. Why? Finn and Dominic have been beefing little by little. They both have different ideas for the Judgment Day. Dom needs the big win. He's going to go in there, and he's going to screw Finn Balor. And that's going to lead to eventually Finn getting kicked out of the group and the Judgment Day being led by Dominic Mysterio. But it's also going to give Dom a big win. He's been like the top heel as far as getting reactions go for the company for a while now. I think they need to reward him. Now, it could go another route. It could have Penta win. Penta is coming in from AEW. He's been there for a little bit now. He seems to have a big following already. The crowd loves him. He's selling good merchandise. But I think Dom's going to get it here. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if the money decision goes to Penta, since he is driving that merch. But I think Dirty Dom's going to get it. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Sin City street fight. I think it's going to be a war. I think it's going to be brutal. Is it going to be as crazy as CM Punk versus Drew in Hell in a Cell? Absolutely not. But I think that Damian Priest is going to get a win here. I think that while Drew definitely deserves a win, since he hasn't, had a great career when it comes to WrestleMania. I mean, he did beat Brock, and he did win last year against Seth, but he lost to Roman beforehand, and he just seems to kind of be floating around. He definitely deserves better than what he's getting, but I think they might give Damian Priest a win here. Damian, though, They keep trying to push him as this big main eventer. There's just something not clicking. I don't know what it is. He seems more like an upper mid-card that they're trying their hardest to get to that next level. Just something needs to change with him. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I know this might help him getting a win at WrestleMania, a singles win like that. I know he won the title last year by cashing in, but I think actually winning a match against a high-caliber person like Drew will definitely boost his cred. Will it get him right into that main event scene like they try so hard to get him for? I don't know. So there it is, Randy Orton listed versus to be determined. It's definitely going to be either, I'm hoping, like I said, I'm really hoping they do something with one of the TNA guys just to give TNA a little bit of a rub on the grandest stage of them all. If they can have Joe Hendry, I know he's got like a rotator cuff injury, but if he can just come in, have a quick match with Randy. Randy's a safe worker. They get to blow, tear the house down. The crowd would go crazy, but it could be a lot of different people. Favorites, Nick Aldis. I'm sure that'd be neat to see. Definitely since, he was Magnus in TNA, was their champion. He was champion in NWA and, for a while there. So it just depends. It could possibly be Solo since they were kind of beefing, and to maybe give Solo a rub and give him a singles match at WrestleMania since he's not really listed on there. But it just depends on what route they go with the Jacob Fatu and LA Knight match. Finally, we got Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. Honestly, I'm going to jump right to the conclusion of it. I think John Cena's going to win. I think he's going to win by The Rock interfering because The Rock has yet to be involved since John Cena turned heel. And I think they did that for a reason where they barely mentioned him because they want us to forget. And John Cena is going to need help because he's getting up there in age. Obviously, storyline-wise, since Cody's kind of old already as it is. But John Cena's going to come very close, not seal the deal. Cody's going to go for the big win. Cue The Rock's music. Cody gets distracted. Maybe Travis Scott comes in there, helps John Cena cost Cody Rhodes the match. John Cena wins, gets his 17th, 18th, since it's 2 world titles, but they just decided to pretend like that's not a thing still, even though WWE still lists on their website that the Undisputed Championship is the Universal, which is still active, and the WWE title, which is still active, but they'll say it's his 17th, even though it's really his 18th then, since it's 2 world titles, and they count Cody as 2 world titles, and Roman has having 2 world titles, and they haven't gone on TV and said anything, but we'll just say it's 17, 18 world title for John Cena. But that's going to be WrestleMania. And then John Cena's going to hold that championship. And will he turn face at the end of his run? Maybe, maybe not. Who's going to be the one to dethrone him? Who's to say? Could be Punk, could be Randy, could be anybody, could be Cody. They could do it back right before John Cena retires. Cody gets one last shot, maybe at Madison Square Garden, where he can win the championship, hold it up in the air just like his dad did. And then they can finally close the storybook for Cody Rhodes on winning the title for his dad. But that's WrestleMania 41. Undisputed WWE Championship match. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight. And then everything else that's happening in between. So I think it's going to be a pretty neat pay-per-view. I think that there's going to be a lot of surprises, that being celebrities and that. They also have the Hall of Fame. Shout out to all those Hall of Famers going in there, including Triple H. I know he's already was brought in as a member of DX, but it's fantastic to see him get the recognition that he deserves as a single star. Triple H has been there a long time. They got 4 new belts out there honoring him for his 30 years. But given everything he's gone through, if you get a chance, listen to him talk about what really happened with his heart and everything like that, because he's lucky to still be here today. And the fact that he is and doing the job that he is and creating all this beautiful content for all the wrestling fans and everyone else around the world is just, hats off to him. But those are my thoughts on WrestleMania 41. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend and enjoys the show. Feel free to leave your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on who you think's going to win, lose, where you think the storyline's going to take it. Is The Rock going to appear? Is he not? Is Stone Cold going to come help Cody? Like a lot of people are predicting, will The Undertaker make an appearance? What else is going to happen? Will Goldberg show up and maybe cost Gunther the match to build towards them? Who knows? A lot of different things could happen at WrestleMania 41. So have a wonderful time. Remember, everybody always is going through something. You can always talk to people. You can always reach out. You're never truly alone. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you down the road.